The Fantastic Four are the Marvel first family who have saved Marvel Comics from falling twice. Even after 80 years, it seems that this Fantastic Four family is now saving the Marvel Cinematic Universe from falling. Our upcoming Fantastic Four first step movie of MCU is going to have a lot of importance in the future for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. At the same time, we will understand the essence of all the Fantastic Force that we have received till date, and also that this is such a superhero family that has not received what it deserved till date. So, if you are on the channel, please subscribe to the channel. There might be some distortion in the voice because I am not well at the moment. I am on Watcher from C53 and I welcome you all to the Watcher Show. So, if Fantastic Four had received the right justice, it would have been a successful franchise and it would have had a good impact on the fans of creative minds, but in the cinema world, all these things are served according to the eyes of the same audience, only then this thing becomes commercial, meaning the only purpose of earning money from these things is, and slowly the originality starts dying. If any movie of James Cameron and Christopher Nolan was made by adding spice to it, then it would not have been the same as we have seen now. When Pentagon was being made, it was not thought that the audience would like it or not. It was just a creative idea which had to be presented to the people. The same is the case with Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. It was November 1961. When the Fantastic Four comic book was first presented to the people, it changed the history of comic books. It was a new form of comic book in which science beyond the science of that time was used. Many thoughts and concepts which no one thought right to use after Einstein were shown in the Fantastic Four comic book in 1961, such as a bridge which Mr. Fantastic called Raft, and it was a multiversal portal. It was also shown and the characters were also made powerful and attractive. In the 60s, this comic book became so popular that it made its mark in the international market. People started liking it and then came the turn to bring it in live action. 4 animated series of Fantastic Four have been released so far. Roger Corman's low-budget movie came in 1994 which was not released. Then Tom's movies came in 2005 and 2007. The first movie of 2005 showed the origin of Fantastic Four, and the second one, which came in 2007, showed the rise of Silver Surfer and Galactus. And then after this, in 2015, we also got a Fantastic Four movie from Joss Trank, whose attempt was to reboot the Fantastic Four franchise again and present a cinematic universe like Marvel to the people, but it flopped badly. Now, after 10 years, we are going to get Fantastic Four first step. The good thing is that MCU is showing its original characters. MCU is making movies on the same until date. MCU has not got this opportunity with Fantastic Four. All the Fantastic Four movies that we have seen so far had some aspects in them. All these movies did not get what they deserved. Whether we talk about Doctor Doom or all the members of Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer or Galactus, or an essence that these movies could never give. Overall, all these people failed to show this thing and forgot why these characters are so special. It has been 80 years since Fantastic Four were created and this thing is still there, and in fact people are still waiting for their true self. Currently Fantastic Four is an adventure family drama. Reed is a father figure. Sue Storm is emotional as well as a mother. Sister and Johnny fight like brothers, and these 4 together work as the backbone for the story of Fantastic Four. This is a family where there are ups and downs, and from time to time it is also proved that they have the same blood. Now cosmic radiation has been mixed in. When there is a rift between all these members of Fantastic Four, as shown in the comic book story of Jack and Stan, where Sue Storm leaves Reed during the Civil War event, but later everything becomes fine. Similarly, in Jonathan Hickman's comic story about Fantastic Four, there was a rift between them, but by the end, all of them were given a strong connection. All these aspects were not about the fact that this is just a team, rather it is more than a team, it is a family, everything is personal, everything is emotional, and this is what gives them an even stronger connection. One of the things in the origin stories of Fantastic Four is that at that time, Marvel's publisher Martin Goodman heard that DC is going to do a team-up with its superheroes, and this team-up would be DC's Justice League America, where DC's most famous superheroes would be seen together in a comic book. Martin thought that we should also do something like this, so Jack Kirby and Stan Lee took a decision to make these characters look different by adding interpersonal conflicts to them. Along with that, the real-world problems that were going on were always to be shown, but daily struggle was also added to it. In 1961, this was really a big step. Here, a comic book was created that had never been presented to the people before. These main characters, the Fantastic Four, had some powers that they got after a tragic accident with cosmic radiation. Heroes were created and these heroes needed villains to become heroes. That's why characters like Dr. Doom and Mole Man came into the picture, but here they were not known for facing these villains, rather the storyline was changed into some great things like each character had their own personal dilemma and along with these dilemmas, they also used to have an adventure like going to the negative zone, going to the center core of the Earth, meeting new aliens and species and sharing their knowledge with them. This is like Star Trek, but we know it. That this is the story before that, but after this when it was the turn of the Fantastic Four movie, some of these concepts were removed. Here an attempt was being made to show the Fantastic Four movie in such a way that even the normal audience could connect with it well. The only thing that people liked was that it kept adding spice to things and this thing made things from bad to worse. In 1994 when the Fantastic Four are brought to live action for the first time, then this responsibility was given to Roger Corman. Making this movie was not the only work but also their rights had to be kept safe. Finally this movie was completely ready but it was not released and none of the actors working in this movie were aware of this thing. Later everyone was surprised that the movie was ready but why it was not released. This Fantastic Four movie was completely comic accurate. Some changes were made in some things but the real thing was also that there was not that much money to make this movie as it was needed, that is why this movie looked quite different from its original style. Then after this in 2005, Tom Story's Fantastic Four movie came out. This movie made things even more complicated because in the year 2000, there were many other superhero movies. They did not want to use science theory on a large scale. That is why they included a family drama in this Fantastic Four movie. But watching superheroes fighting like children on screen all the time also bores the audience, especially when these superheroes do not hurt each other seriously. That is why, in this movie, misunderstanding was also included along with family drama. A different kind of chemistry was seen between Ben and Johnny. There was also some different chemistry between Sue and Johnny. Actually, all these members had a different point of presenting their different views and this thing has been pointed out well in their comics that the views of these four people are different on any one issue. Whenever any interdimensional science fiction thing came in front of them, then all of them used to get angry. Members used to present their different views but this Fantastic Four movie of the team removed all these things and no effort was made to show it. It was just that there is a personal conflict between these Fantastic Four like in Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer, Sue Storm gets upset with Reed in his bachelor party because Reed was dancing with some girls here and this thing upset Sue Storm, then what was the meaning of the bachelor party? On the other hand Ben Graham was shown as if he is sad in the whole movie because he has turned into a monster. He always kept blaming Reed for this situation, in the same way all these issues together showed a personal conflict leaving aside the family vibe of Fantastic Four. On the other hand when a supervillain like Dr. Doom comes in front of them, then all these things are left behind. Then in 2015 Joe Strang's Fantastic Four movie came and there were so many problems in this movie that people were not able to understand where to start this movie from. When it was ready, it looked like this movie was shot in a train compartment. Their origin story was ruined and the family essence that was always with the Fantastic Four was nowhere to be seen here. It looked like these four people were picked up from different places and if they get a chance, they can kill each other. There was no emotional connection between Ben and Sue. None of the characters had any family quality and here in this scene when Reed tells Bane that you used to be a good friend of mine, then Bane replies that I was never your friend. John Storm and Sue Storm are actually brother and sister but if you look at Zari here, he is black and now from which angle does he look like Sue's brother? Fox tried their best to give a comic-accurate Fantastic Four movie but here they botched it badly in this Fantastic Four movie. They should have taken a good adaptation from the comic book but instead they did not do it. They chose a different path, like Tom Story's Fantastic Four movie was a copy of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movie, while Joe Trank's Fantastic Four movie of 2015 was based on Beckman The Dark Knight. The title of Fantastic Four itself defines many things. Here it means that there is a fantastic team of four people who introduce us to a science fiction adventure series and this thing should be the central point of every Fantastic Four movie. This year we will get to see Marvel's Fantastic Four first step. This thing has been kept in mind in it, that is why this movie is set in another universe. Mr. Fantastic is researching many things on the multiversal theory. So it is coming in front of us with a savvy narrative. There is some personal problem between Johnny and Ben as well, but when it comes to being represented together, then these four people come forward like a family. If more is expected from these Fantastic Four, then we can also get to see interdimensional things. Mr. Fantastic also discovers the console of reeds, which now increases the possibility of this thing after coming out of the Council of Cancer. Many things like time travel are connected with the comic story of this Fantastic Four. Even after being so dynamic, this team does not step back from its family role, whether it is about going back in time and becoming the slave of Rama Tut or Dr. Doom turning this Earth into Planet Doom. These adventures and connections among them make it clear that this is not a superhero team but it is fantastic, and that is why they were named Fantastic Four. Killing Bruce Wayne's parents in front of his eyes, due to which he later became Batman. Spider-Man always living with the feeling that his Uncle Ben died because of him. Tony Stark who wanted to make the world better. All these guilt, motivation, anger together create a personality, and then a superhero is born. All these things cannot be explained in one sentence, but this is something that should be presented well in the movie. But what happened that we did not get to see this thing from Fantastic Four? The direct answer to this can also be that we got the wrong people at the wrong time, because Rose and Corman never had the intention of making a Fantastic Four movie. That is why they did not release it. Tom's Fantastic Four movie was far away from sci-fi adventure. The depth of the characters was not explained properly, and in its originality, that spice was added which made it fun for the general audience to watch. Then Joe Trank's Fantastic Four movie was not even close to Fantastic Four. On the other hand, when these superhero movies were being made, the makers were thinking about how they can look good on screen. That is why Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was rebooted and Andrew Garfield's new Spider-Man came before us. Then the decision was taken to reboot Fantastic Four as well, and Joe Trung's Fantastic Four came before us. But on the other hand, in all this, Marvel Studio was expanding its cinematic universe even more, and we saw a successful result of this from Iron Man to Endgame. Thor, Iron, all this of Captain America gives a different vibe in his solo movie, which has proved to be excellent as always. While Guardians of the Galaxy was being seen as Starverse, but this movie is quite different from that. Also, when movies are adopted from comic book stories, then comic book is the only medium through which something new is given to the fans. We have many examples to talk about, like Sony's Spider-Verse, Madam Web, Mobius, Kraven the Hunter. Along with this, I also want to add Venom, because if you have read the comics of Venom, then you yourself must be understanding that we have never seen Venom like the one in comics in live action. Currently, after 80 years, it is expected from Fantastic Four that it will lift the sagging MCU, and believe it or not, this is the only movie that will decide the features of the upcoming Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Apart from this, I have explained the multiverse theory on this channel, and you will like to watch this video very much. Along with a humble request is to please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the video then do not forget to like it. See you with the next video. Until then, enjoy yourself, love you, take care and bye.